Bottom knee slides through, don't knee him in the dick. Connect legs on both sides. Switch hand, yep. Wrap and dump. Yep. Go quick, Guerrero. There you go. So the initial engagement, come in, I grab their hands, and I'm gonna fling them above my head, which will help the draw, okay? Now I've got my legs set, I take Jane over, and immediately I'm gonna feed a hand in. To review a couple options for the braking mechanics, if I hit a straight ankle, I'm gonna get things locked up nice and tight. I'm gonna keep a proud chest, so kind of like that famous Arnold pose where he's got the side chest. I've got to make a 1, 2, 3 connection. 1, pressure into the ribs. 2, a tight knee connection. And then 3, a short arch. Doesn't take very long, okay? This is pretty standard. We go through this quite often. What'll likely happen is Jane's going to set a boot. She sets a boot, her toes are peeled back towards her nose, and it prevents me from peeling everything back that I need to set that break. Even if my hand is fed through, I've got, no, it's okay, put her on, yeah. I've got things set up pretty well. It's pretty hard for me to fold them back and break them. I can, but it's hard. So what I opt to do is an Achilles lock. I take my far shoulder and my nose and I try and put them to the mat and I get a quick tap. So as soon as I feel the boot go on, I switch from thinking I've got a straight ankle, I can use the same grip, the boot goes on, and then I take far shoulder and nose and I turn to mat. It'll happen fairly quickly, okay? So my hands are still behind. Should I opt to use the Harimi Ashigurami to set a heel hook, I'm gonna make sure that I've got her heel dug up. I'm gonna expose and I'm gonna set a grip where I can bring the blade of my forearm across and hide my elbow. Once I've got this, I can set a cross pressure where I turn my knee inward as I rotate Jane's ankle towards the opposite wall. It's very little effort to create the heel hook, okay? I can't emphasize enough, I don't want to set a heel hook where I've got my right arm, my top arm, heavily exposed. If Jane happens to sit up and she gets 2-on-1, she's going to separate that and I really don't have a lot, okay? Sure, could I refeed? But not in time, because she's likely going to separate those arms, put her right foot on the mat, and sit up. Boom. From here, we'll look at what the counters are. It's not a big deal. Okay, so the heel hook position, exact same for the Ashigurami. I'm going to make sure that I've got the Achilles in deep. I'm going to fold everything low to the ankle. Okay, I'm going to take my right arm, my top arm, and come across her shin, hiding my elbow, creating a counter pressure that almost gets the tap right there. Very simple, okay? So you've got 3 leg attacks to cycle through. 1's our initial straight ankle. 2, you feel the boot. Then I can switch from this to nose and shoulder to the mat, staying nice and tight. And then 3, should I so choose, I'm gonna expose, come in nice and tight, and set the break, okay? Just be careful. We'll look at what the counter is and then how we're going to turn this into counter wrestling right away. Okay, on 3, 1, 2. Thank you. Just to reinforce the difference in the Achilles versus straight ankle. Straight ankle, once I'm up, I'm going to keep a tight, tall posture, and then I'm just going to set my break from here, right? If you want to work on your braking mechanics, once you get everything in, you should be able to get so tight and set a good squeeze that I can look ma, no hands, and get a break, okay? That would be your goal. So then when I do feed this in, it takes no time. So my chest is up, I'm proud. If I feel the boot and I want to transition, that's okay. I can set that same break, keeping that elbow in nice and tight so Jane can't 2-on-1. But even if she does, I keep that bottom hand in. I'm gonna rotate down and towards the mat. If she can grab my arm, it makes it kind of hard for me to rotate, right? It does get tricky. So I'm gonna make sure everything's in tight, elbows tight to my rib, and then I come down and across, aiming to touch nose and shoulder to the mat. Okay, heel hook, setting that braking pressure. It's going to be key. I want to keep everything low and tight. I don't want to be up midway on the thigh. There's no fucking way I'm going to break her leg at this point. So I'm going to keep everything in nice and tight, and the tap comes on fairly quick. So what happens when, right? Okay, I've got this set up, and it's early, okay? Jane is going to try two things. One, the defensive position is going to be that she's going to try and turn her heel in towards my ribs, okay? So I call it ballerina toes. Okay, I think there's a fancy, was it point? Okay, well, fuck John. Okay. Who's it? You did dance, right? Is it point? Yeah. Okay. I should know this. I got a daughter in dance. So Jane's goal is to rotate her heel in to hide the heel. Okay? Not a big deal for me. I can always pop my hips back up, making it hard for her to move, pulling, connecting, and then going back in for the break. Okay? Should I so want. I can also pull up, switch to an outside heel, a complete outside heel hook versus the Ashiarimi. Okay? What she's also going to do is she's going to turn her free leg away, and she's going to instigate a roll. So to do so safely, we're going to turn our leg away from the break, and we're going to roll. Okay? Boom. So to practice this, keep going, Jane, please. Thanks. To practice this, if you're uncertain or if you're scared about an injury, I don't have to set the brake while Jane rolls, right? I can take my right hand and I can cup at the Achilles so I can stay tight, and when she rolls, go ahead. Boom. I practice a proper braking mechanic. I've kept my elbow in, so were she to roll and I keep my elbow out, go ahead. I end up posting and stopping us, which is going to allow Jane to start to separate my feet. Both feet, please. Boom. Putting her weight on my hips and loading herself up where she can start to slide her knee out. And as she puts more and more weight on and starts to slide, separating both feet, she can turn back in and end up in a proper defensive position. Let's go back to center. So as an attacker, to be safe with my partner, I can take the brake off because we can practice it safely. If we keep the brake on, she rotates the wrong way, she goes to my left or her right, yeah, she breaks her own fucking knee pretty quick, right? That's in the direction of the brake. So we'll communicate with our partner, we'll set up our brake, we'll set our braking mechanic, create that tension, likely get a tap. From there, Jane can practice defense, okay? She's gonna go, cool, I'm gonna defend by tucking my heel and going to point or to a ballerina toe. When she does so, she's now gonna turn away from the brake. My brake goes this way, she turns away from the brake and opens that leg up. We roll, I keep a good position. Boom, hey, outside heel hook, break. There's an opportunity, let's go back to center, for a break. If you've done these and you feel a little bit more confident and your communication is great with your partner, that as we set that initial roll, she goes and rolls, I set a reap, expose, and create a break scenario where it's gonna be tricky for her to re-roll out of this. If she does, that's cool, but I've set myself in a position where I can extend my body, push my hips in, my foot has come over the center line of her hip, and I get a tap. Should she want to roll again, okay, boom, outside heel hook, broken. Just be very careful with your partner, okay, communicate well. Yes?
Sorry.
Yeah, of course we can. Let's go so your head faces the door, please. So this is okay here? Okay, so I've set my brake, I go for the outside heel hook, Jane, ballerina toes, turns in direction, I hold, I can reap over. This is illegal most competitions, but it's an arbitrary rule set. I still think it's important to learn how. So I've reaped, I've gone from a position here to folding over, setting a brake where I'm going to extend my hips and create the brake. Should she continue to roll, I'm not going to pause. I'm not going to post with my elbow. I'm going to keep everything in nice and tight. So as we go over, Boom, I can post off my head, feed into the outside heel hook. Boom, quick break. Okay? Just be real slow and gentle with this. Okay? So that's the roll. The roll gets us a wrestle up. Okay? So let's go back into the same position. We're going to roll, and then we're going to add a wrestle up. So I've set myself up. I'm hell-bent on breaking her leg. Jane's defensively sound and knows where she's going. She rolls. I don't want to roll for infinity. I feel like I can't set, keep going, Jane. I can't set that outside. Oh, man. That outside heel hook, because it's just not a place I'm going to end up. I'm going to keep my initial grip. Okay? So I'm going to stay behind the ankle. I'm going to rise up, elevate, and sit up. Jane's likely going to start to freak out because she knows she's going to be in a really bad spot. She's splayed, foot's up. So they may start to try and create a post and to scurry away. Boom. Jump on it, khabib it, and either take the back or go to mount. Okay? So a little bit of a faster pace. Let's come back to center. So you're going to get plenty of time to work on this. Set the break, Jane moves, boom. And then where do I want to go from there? Cool? On 3, 1, 2. Practice the break, practice the defense, practice the wrestle up. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Trick. Yep. Good. And he's going to either boogie or he's going to stay. If he stays, he's going to get shit beat out of him. If he boogies, it opens that up. Nice. If we didn't have anything that we're majorly concerned about, we'll take it from the point of Jane's rolled, I've scooped a foot, and I'm preventing her from moving. I can keep her foot elevated above her head, so should she choose to post with her left hand and scurry, I'm just going to be able to drive her in that direction, and it's going to be awful, right? So what she may choose to do is to try and kick out and go to a 45-degree angle where she's more defensively sound, right? She's got a strong leg against my hand. Even though I'm in an elevated position, it's not the most ideal for me. Now I've got an open guard, I'm standing, and I need to do something. The easy option is to look at inside passing, or tomorrow we'll look at outside passing and camping. But today we'll deal with some inside. Couple things to note. My initial step is going to matter. If I take an angle on Jane where I cut to a hamstring, it's going to open up options for De La Riva hooks or reverse De La Riva, depending on how she wants to go. So, boom. Yep. Reverse De La Rivas, De La Riva hooks. So if I cut in on an angle, I open myself up. Okay? So I need to be aware that my first step when she's in that 45 degree, I'm going to be careful here, is going to be dead center. Okay? I'm going to connect both legs. I'm going to turn them out. From here, I'm going to look at inside camping, which is pretty awful. So apologies in advance. I'm going to splay the legs, and I'm not worried about her grabbing my heels. Even if she does, I'm pretty sound in that she can't do much. My hands are going to cover the hips and my head. Now, if I keep an upright posture, that's cool. I can see what's going on. Apologies again. But I'm going to look to bury my head low and apply my weight down. Should she again try and push me off, I'm pretty cool here. And it feeds well into inside passing, which is generally going to be a knee slice. Okay? I can skip across the dynamic pass. Okay? I'll get you to scoot back. It is uncomfortable on your partner, especially when you put that head into the torso and they got to bear your weight while you splay them. Sucks to suck. Okay? So I've set up the break. We've done our roll. We're coming back up. I elevate. I prevent the wrestle up. Jane goes knee and elbow and sets herself in a solid defensive position. I don't take an angled step because it's going to open myself up for RDL-R, reverse De La Riva, or DLR, De La Riva. Okay, so I got to watch out for those leg entanglements. So instead of an angled step, I'm going to come center, splay, connect, and get as low as I can on my partner. From here, I'm not worried at all. If she wants to get strong, that's cool. I can just keep that weight low and heavy, and then at my leisure, I can look forward to passing. Okay, whether you go knee slice, this kind of modified half guard position, where her outside leg, if you want to try and re-guard with your outside leg, please, is going to be useless because I've actually come across the calf. I can fight for this, and yeah, sure, she has a butterfly, go ahead. It's not very effective at countering my pass. You can go to side and then mount from there and apply any side control or mount attacks as you see fit. Does anybody want to see that again? Yep. So again, the wrestle up position, instead of Jane trying to scurry, or when she realizes that a scurrying away is going to be useless, she chooses a 45-degree angle. Fairly defensively sound, both soles are facing me. She's prevented knee and elbow separation in this way, and she can look to enter my legs, okay, or form a connection. So recognizing this, I can create some asymmetry if I need to, but I don't take an angular step where she could cut through and create a reverse De La Riva hook, please, or a De La Riva should she happen to rotate the other way, okay? So instead of that, maybe I create an angle and I come center. I splay the legs, hands come to hips, I get low and I apply my weight down into my partner. From here, I can hang out. Should she want to be angular or grab my heels, I'm not concerned. I can just give her weight until I find an underhook and come through to pass. This modified half guard position, I've stapled her leg with my shin, and if she has any attempts at putting her butterfly hook in, it really doesn't do anything, because were she to try and pry, I can kick free, solidify my half guard. Okay, from there, transition to mount, find asymmetry with one arm above the head, bicep near ear, and attack. Cool? On 3, 1, 2. Do you need to see any of that? Okay. Right inside, nice. Nice. Put as much weight as you can into her.
Yeah, better.
Yeah. There, better. And you can hang for as long as you need to. Go ahead. Nice. Beautiful. Jane, try the butterfly hook. Good. So, depending on limb length, quite often our jiu-jitsu has to shift, right? Even if I've got this raised position and I feel like I'm relatively safe, for Cole to come in and set that reverse De La Riva where he feeds in underneath, shit, I'm in a much more dangerous position now than I would be with other people because he is so long, whether it's his hands or his feet. So it's a concern. Against long-legged guys, things have to change. It's like trying to perform a triangle. When you've got shorter limbs, you have to change some of the angles. So once I've entered a position where I've got his legs splayed, we've got a couple scenarios. If he shows me both soles and the heels are up, I could change my tactics and I could come in for some pressure passing this way. If both the feet end up down for whatever reason, I'd look at my Toriendo options. If they point at me, I could also set up a splaying where I create an asymmetrical position where it's very hard for him to be strong or balanced. So I can create a splaying of the legs where I come and wrap at the toes, and I create a splaying. Then I can set myself up for success. If I try and win a game where I'm going to come into the ankles, it makes it very simple for him to kick out and go to a De La Riva hook. Exactly, beautiful for leg connection. Or the other option is I get caught up on one foot, he switches to the reverse De La Riva and then starts to look for sweeps or leg entry, wrestle up options from there. Okay? So I can create a splaying motion and an asymmetrical motion where I come in, and from here it's much more difficult for him. I can take that center point step and then set up my camping for my inside camping and then inside passing, okay? Just wanted to touch on it because we have a couple guys with longer legs and it does change up your approach.